Listen, life isn't going to hand you strength. Nobody wakes up one morning unbreakable. You build that, you earn that. And it starts with the habits you live by every single day. So today I'm giving you 8 unshakable habits that will make you unstoppable. You master these, nothing can break you. Your mind is the control center of everything you do. Every action, every decision, every result, it all starts in your head. But here's the truth most people never realize. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or it's your biggest limitation. And the difference between the two? How you train it. Most people let their thoughts run wild. They wake up, check their phones, scroll through negativity, and let the world dictate how they feel. They allow doubt to creep in, they let fear take over, and they don't even realize they are handing over their power without a fight. But the ones who win, the ones who rise, who dominate, who refuse to be broken, they control their focus. They decide what thoughts they entertain and what thoughts they reject. They train their minds like a warrior trains for battle, because they know that if they don't, life will crush them before they even have a chance to fight back. If you want to become unbreakable, the first step is recognizing that your thoughts shape your reality. What you focus on expands. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, on what's missing, on what might go wrong, guess what? You will always find more of that. Your brain is a search engine. It looks for what you tell it to find. Start feeding it power, not poison. Stop letting old fears, past failures, or other people's opinions define what you are capable of. Your mind has been programmed for years by your environment, by society, by your own past experiences, but now it's time to reprogram it. It's time to take control. Every morning you need to set the tone for your mind. Do you wake up reacting or do you wake up leading? Most people roll out of bed and go straight into survival mode. They check their emails, they think about everything they have to do, they start their day already feeling overwhelmed. But the most powerful people, they take command of their mornings. Before they let the world in, they condition their mind for strength. They fill it with the right messages, the right energy, the right beliefs. Because they know that the world is going to throw punches at them. And if they aren't mentally prepared, they'll fall before the fight even starts. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking their thoughts are facts. They feel fear and assume it means stop. They doubt themselves and assume it means they're not ready. They fail once and assume they're a failure, but feelings are not facts. Just because your mind tells you something doesn't mean it's true. And if you don't challenge those thoughts, they will control your entire life. You need to start questioning the stories you tell yourself. That voice in your head that says you're not good enough, who told you that? That belief that says you'll never succeed, where did that come from? Most of the limitations you have aren't even yours. They were given to you by someone else, by a bad experience, by a past mistake. But you have the power to rewrite the story. You have the power to choose new beliefs, new patterns, new thoughts that serve you instead of destroy you. Training your mind isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily process. Just like you wouldn't go to the gym once and expect to be strong forever, you can't train your mind for one day and expect to be mentally unbreakable. You have to work on it every single day. That means being intentional with what you consume, what you read, what you listen to, who you surround yourself with. It means replacing negative self-talk with powerful affirmations. It means practicing gratitude even when life is hard. It means focusing on solutions instead of problems, on growth instead of excuses. You can either be a slave to your thoughts or you can be the master of them. The choice is yours. But make no mistake, if you don't take control of your mind, someone else will. The media, social media, negative people, old fears, they will hijack your thoughts and shape your reality for you. And that reality, it won't be one of strength, confidence, or success. It will be one of hesitation, self-doubt, and regret. The people who accomplish the impossible, who break barriers, who refuse to be stopped, they aren't just lucky. They aren't just born different. They have conditioned themselves to think differently. They have trained their minds to be resilient, to push through fear, to see opportunities where others see obstacles. They don't let circumstances define them. They define their circumstances. You have that same ability. It doesn't matter what's happened in your past. It doesn't matter what your current situation looks like. What matters is whether or not you're willing to take control. What matters is whether you're ready to stop letting old thoughts dictate your future. Because the truth is, nothing changes until you change your mind. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Strength isn't built when things are easy. Every single person who has ever achieved greatness, who has ever broken through limits, who has ever reached a level of success most only dream about, had one thing in common. They leaned into discomfort. They didn't run from it. They didn't avoid it. They embraced it. They understood that the very thing most people fear is the thing that will separate them from the rest of the world. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding discomfort. They stay in the same job they hate because it's familiar. They avoid difficult conversations because they don't want to feel awkward. They don't chase their dreams because the fear of failure is too overwhelming. They choose the easy path over and over again, not realizing that every time they do, they are weakening themselves. They are training themselves to back down. And what happens when life throws something unexpected at them? They crumble. Not because they are incapable, but because they never built the mental calluses needed to push through hard things. Pain is a prerequisite for growth. If you want to be stronger, you have to lift heavier weights. If you want to be smarter, you have to challenge yourself with harder problems. If you want to be emotionally unbreakable, you have to put yourself in situations that test you. That's how resilience is built, not by avoiding struggle, but by stepping into it willingly. Every time you feel discomfort and push through it, you are reprogramming your brain. You are proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. And the more you do this, the stronger you become. The people who rise to the top in any field, athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, warriors, they don't just tolerate discomfort, they seek it out. They put themselves in difficult situations on purpose because they know that's where the real growth happens. They know that when their body wants to quit, when their mind is screaming for them to stop, that's the exact moment where they need to push harder. Because on the other side of that moment is a new level of strength, a new level of confidence, a new level of self-respect. Fear and discomfort go hand in hand. Most people think fear is a sign to stop, but that's a lie. Fear is a compass. It's pointing you towards something important. It's showing you exactly where you need to go. The very thing you're afraid of, whether it's speaking up, taking a risk, putting yourself out there, is the thing you must do if you want to grow. The people who win in life are the ones who understand that fear is not a stop sign. It's a green light. It's an invitation to step up. The problem is that most people wait to feel ready before they take action. They wait for the fear to disappear. They wait for the discomfort to fade, but that moment never comes. You don't become confident before you do the thing. You become confident because you do the thing. The action comes first. The courage comes first. The feeling of being ready, that comes after you've already stepped into the discomfort. There is no shortcut around this. If you want to grow, if you want to be stronger, if you want to build an unshakable mindset, you have to get used to doing things that make you uncomfortable. You have to get used to saying yes to challenges that scare you. You have to be willing to look foolish, to fail, to struggle, to feel the weight of difficulty and keep going anyway. Most people avoid discomfort because they associate it with pain, but the real pain, the real suffering, that comes from staying the same. That comes from looking back on your life and realizing you never became who you were meant to be. That comes from knowing you had more inside you, but you were too afraid to step into the fire and let it forge you into something greater. The mind is always looking for the easy way out. It wants to protect you. It wants to keep you safe. That's why the moment you start something hard, your brain starts coming up with excuses. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm too tired. I don't feel like it. That voice isn't you. It's your survival instinct. And if you listen to it, you'll never grow. Because the reality is you can do so much more than your mind tells you. Your limits are only as real as you believe them to be. You have to rewire your thinking. Instead of seeing discomfort as something to avoid, see it as proof that you're moving in the right direction. When something feels hard, recognize that it's an opportunity to build resilience. When you feel like quitting, recognize that you're in the exact moment where growth is happening. When you feel fear, recognize that it's a sign you're stepping into a higher version of yourself. The most powerful version of you, the one who is unbreakable, that version isn't created in comfort. It's built in the moments where you push through despite every part of you wanting to stop. It's built in the moments where you lean into the discomfort instead of running from it. It's built every single time you choose growth over ease. Discipline is not something you turn on and off when you feel like it. It's not a switch. It's an identity. It's who you are, not just what you do. The people who achieve the greatest results in life, the ones who build legacies, who rise above every challenge, who refuse to be broken, aren't the most talented, the luckiest, or the ones with the easiest path. They're the ones who show up every single day, no matter what. They don't rely on motivation, because they know motivation is weak. It comes and goes. One day you're fired up, the next day you don't feel like doing anything. If you build your success on motivation, you'll fail the moment it fades. But if you build it on discipline, nothing can stop you. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Most people wait until they're in the mood to take action. They wait until conditions are perfect, until they have more time, until they feel ready. But the truth is, that moment never comes. There will always be something standing in the way. Fatigue, distractions, doubt, excuses. Discipline is the ability to act despite all of that. It's the ability to say, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares what you do. People think discipline is restrictive, that it takes away freedom. But the reality is the opposite. The most disciplined people in the world are the freest. They don't wake up stressed because they didn't follow through on their goals. They don't feel guilty about procrastinating. They don't live with regret. They have control over their time, their actions, their outcomes. That's real freedom. The people who avoid discipline are the ones who end up trapped in bad habits, trapped in cycles of inconsistency, trapped in a life they don't want because they never had the discipline to create the one they did. Most people look at discipline as something they have to force themselves to do, like a punishment. That's why they struggle. They see it as a burden rather than a path to strength. But the people who master discipline don't see it that way. They see it as a privilege. They see it as an advantage. They don't resent it. They embrace it. They know that every time they do what needs to be done, when they push through fatigue, when they stay committed, when they show up, they are reinforcing their identity. They are proving to themselves that they are the kind of person who follows through, who doesn't quit, who can be counted on. And once you build that identity, it becomes automatic. The mistake most people make is thinking discipline is something you just wake up with one day. It's not. It's a habit. It's a muscle. And just like any muscle, it has to be trained. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. The problem is most people train the opposite muscle. The muscle of excuses, of inconsistency, of quitting when things get hard. Every time you skip a workout, every time you hit snooze, every time you choose comfort over commitment, you are strengthening the habit of undiscipline. You are programming yourself to be weak. But every time you push through, every time you stick to the plan, every time you follow through on what you said you would do, you are building the habit of discipline. And that habit will carry you through every challenge life throws at you. Your life is a reflection of what you do consistently, not what you do once in a while, not what you do when it's convenient, not what you do when you feel motivated. It's what you do every day that defines you. If you want to be successful, you don't get to be disciplined only when things are easy. You have to be disciplined when you're tired, when you're busy, when you don't feel like it. That's what separates the ones who achieve greatness from the ones who live with regret. Every goal you have, every dream you want to accomplish, every level of success you desire, it all comes down to discipline. Talent is great, but talent without discipline is wasted potential. Intelligence is useful, but intelligence without discipline leads nowhere. Even passion, even drive, even ambition. Without discipline, they mean nothing. Because success doesn't go to the most gifted, it goes to the most consistent. The ones who do the work when nobody's watching, the ones who put in the reps every single day, the ones who refuse to let their emotions dictate their actions. The real test of discipline isn't when everything is going well. It's easy to be disciplined when things are smooth, when you're seeing progress, when you're feeling good. The real test is when things get hard, when you're exhausted, when the results aren't showing up yet, when it feels like nothing is working. That's when most people give up. That's when most people back down. But the ones who push through, that's when they separate themselves from everyone else. That's when they step into a level of strength most people will never reach. The key to discipline isn't just about willpower. It's about systems. It's about setting up your environment for success. It's about creating routines that make discipline automatic. If you have to make a decision every day about whether or not to take action, you're setting yourself up to fail. Instead, you make it non-negotiable. You remove the decision. You don't ask yourself if you feel like it, you just do it. It's part of who you are. And when you operate that way, when discipline becomes part of your identity, everything changes. Your body is the foundation of everything you do. It's not just about looking good or being in shape. It's about energy, resilience, and mental toughness. When your body is weak, your mind follows. When you feel sluggish, when you're exhausted, when you're not fueling yourself the right way, everything in your life suffers. Your focus drops. Your discipline fades. Your ability to handle stress weakens. The people who dominate in life, who perform at the highest levels, who refuse to be broken, understand that their body is their weapon, and they train it accordingly. Most people treat their body like an afterthought. They eat whatever's convenient. They stay up late and sacrifice sleep. They avoid physical activity because they're too busy, too tired, or just don't feel like it. And then they wonder why they can't stay motivated, why they feel overwhelmed, why they're constantly battling stress and fatigue. They think it's just life weighing them down, but the truth is, they've been weakening themselves with their own habits. Energy is everything. It's the fuel that powers your decisions, your drive, your ability to push through obstacles. When you don't have energy, everything feels harder. Small tasks drain you. Challenges feel overwhelming. You don't just lack the physical ability to perform, you lack the mental clarity and emotional resilience to handle pressure. But when you take care of your body, when you optimize your health, you become unstoppable. You wake up with fire, you attack the day, you handle stress with ease because your body is strong enough to carry the weight. It starts with movement. Human beings are built to move. Your body craves it. The strongest minds in the world belong to people who train their bodies daily. They don't do it just for aesthetics. They do it because they know that strength isn't just about lifting weights. It's about building a body that can endure, a body that can handle stress, that can recover quickly, that can keep going when others break down. Exercise isn't a chore, it's a tool. It's a weapon against weakness, fatigue, and mental fog. It's not about finding time, it's about making time, because the return on investment is everything. Nutrition is fuel. What you put into your body affects everything. Your energy levels, your mood, your ability to focus, your ability to push through discomfort. Most people treat food as entertainment, as something to satisfy cravings, without realizing that every bite is either fueling them or weakening them. If you feed your body garbage, don't be surprised when you feel like garbage. The highest performers in the world don't leave their nutrition to chance. They eat for performance, they eat for energy, they eat with intention, because they know their body isn't just a machine. It's the machine that determines how far they go in life. Sleep is power. In a world that glorifies grinding, where people brag about how little they sleep, the strongest understand that recovery is key. Sleep isn't laziness. It's not something you sacrifice to get ahead. It's the foundation of focus, of discipline, of resilience. When you don't sleep, you don't just get tired, you get weak. Your decision-making suffers. Your emotions get unstable. Your ability to push through resistance crumbles. The best in the world protect their sleep like their life depends on it, because it does. Your body is constantly adapting to the demands you place on it. If you train it to be strong, if you push it, if you fuel it correctly, it becomes resilient. But if you neglect it, if you let it weaken, if you allow bad habits to creep in, it becomes fragile. It starts to work against you instead of for you. You start waking up tired even after a full night's sleep. You start feeling drained halfway through the day. You lose that sharpness, that edge, that ability to dominate instead of just survive. The people who are unbreakable don't just train their minds, they train their bodies because they understand that one cannot be strong without the other. They don't see exercise as optional. They don't treat nutrition as something to figure out later. They don't see sleep as a luxury. They know that their physical state determines their mental state. That's why the greatest minds in history, the greatest leaders, the greatest warriors all had rigorous physical disciplines. They knew that weakness in the body leads to weakness in the mind, and weakness in the mind leads to failure in life. If you want to be at your best, if you want to operate at the highest level, if you want to be unshakable, start with your body. Take control of your habits. Train yourself to be strong, to be fast, to be capable. Feed yourself the fuel that gives you power. Get the sleep that sharpens your mind. Move your body every single day, not because you have to, but because it makes you better, because it makes you powerful, because it makes you unstoppable. Your mind is the command center of your life. Every decision you make, every action you take, every obstacle you overcome starts with the way you think. Most people let their minds run on autopilot. They let negative thoughts take control. They let doubt creep in. They let fear dictate their actions. And then they wonder why they struggle, why they feel stuck, why they can't break through. The truth is, if you don't control your mind, it will control you. And if you allow weakness, negativity, and excuses to take root, they will shape your reality in ways you don't even realize. The strongest people in the world, the ones who rise above every challenge, who refuse to be broken, who achieve the impossible, they all have one thing in common. They master their mindset. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They don't let circumstances define their potential. They train their minds like a warrior trains for battle, because they know that success isn't about talent or luck. It's about mental strength. It's about the ability to stay focused, to stay disciplined, to push forward no matter what. Most people don't realize that their mind is constantly feeding them lies. It tells them they're too tired, too weak, not good enough, not ready. It creates stories that justify quitting, that rationalize staying in the comfort zone, that make failure seem acceptable. And the problem is, most people believe these thoughts. They don't question them. They don't fight back. They just accept whatever their mind tells them as if it's the truth. But it's not. It's just conditioning. It's just patterns you've repeated for so long that they feel real. And the only way to break free is to take control. Your thoughts create your reality. What you focus on, what you believe, what you tell yourself every single day determines your future. If you focus on your limitations, you will live a limited life. If you focus on problems, you will always feel stuck. But if you train your mind to focus on solutions, on possibilities, on what's within your control, you will find ways to win no matter what. This isn't about being blindly positive or ignoring reality. It's about choosing where you direct your mental energy. It's about programming your mind for success instead of failure. The way you speak to yourself matters. Every time you tell yourself you can't do something, you reinforce weakness. Every time you tell yourself you're not good enough, you make that belief stronger. But the opposite is also true. When you start speaking to yourself with power, with confidence, with certainty, you rewire your brain to expect success. You create an identity of someone who doesn't back down, who doesn't quit, who finds a way no matter what. And when you believe that about yourself, you start acting like it. You start showing up differently. You start pushing through resistance instead of backing away from it. This is why the best in the world talk to themselves differently than most people. They don't say, I hope I can do this. They say, I will do this. They don't say, I'm not sure if I'm ready. They say, I'll figure it out. They don't wait to feel confident. They create confidence by reinforcing it in their minds over and over again until there's no room for doubt. And when challenges come, when things get hard, when fear tries to creep in, they don't fold. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They keep their mind locked in, focused, unshakable. Most people never take control of their minds because they don't realize they can. They think thoughts just happen, that feelings just arise, that they have no say in how they think. But that's a lie. Your mind is like a muscle. If you train it to be strong, it will be strong. If you let it stay weak, it will be weak. The way you think is a choice. And the moment you stop letting negativity, doubt, and excuses take over is the moment you step into your power. One of the most powerful ways to take control of your mind is to be intentional about what you feed it. Most people spend their time consuming garbage, negative news, toxic social media, conversations that drain them instead of inspire them, and they wonder why they feel stressed, anxious, unmotivated. Your mind is always absorbing information, whether you realize it or not. If you want to be mentally unbreakable, you need to guard your mental space like your life depends on it. Fill it with things that challenge you, that inspire you, that push you to grow. Surround yourself with people who elevate you, who hold you to a higher standard, who refuse to let you settle. Another key to mastering your mindset is learning how to handle adversity. Most people crumble when things don't go their way. They see failure as a sign to stop, as proof that they're not good enough. But the strongest people in the world see failure as data. They see setbacks as lessons. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves or making excuses. They analyze, adjust, and come back stronger because they understand that the only real failure is quitting. As long as they keep going, they're still in the game. Your mindset is the most powerful tool you have. It will either make you unstoppable or it will keep you stuck. It will either push you forward or hold you back. It will either be your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. And the choice is yours. The moment you decide to take control, to reprogram your thoughts, to stop making excuses, to train your mind like an elite athlete trains their body, is the moment everything changes. The people who achieve the most in life, the ones who rise above challenges, who refuse to be broken, who create a legacy, they all have one thing in common. They take full ownership of everything in their lives. No excuses, no blaming, no waiting for someone else to change their circumstances. They take control. They recognize that no one is coming to save them, that their success, their happiness, their growth, it's all on them. And because they take ownership, they have the power to change anything. Most people go through life blaming something or someone else for where they are. They blame their past, their parents, their boss, the economy, their genetics. They blame circumstances outside of their control because it's easier than facing the truth. And the truth is, you are responsible for your life, not your parents, not your environment, not your past, just you. The moment you truly accept that is the moment you take back your power. Because as long as you believe that something outside of you is in control, you will always be a victim to it. But the second you take full responsibility, you become unstoppable. Taking ownership doesn't mean that everything is your fault. It means that no matter what happens, no matter what life throws at you, no matter how unfair things may seem, you refuse to let it define you. You refuse to let it control you. You refuse to let it be the reason you don't move forward. Life is going to hit you. It's going to test you. It's going to put obstacles in your way that you never saw coming. And when that happens, you have two choices. You can complain, make excuses, and let those obstacles break you, or you can take ownership, find a way through, and come out stronger on the other side. The most dangerous mindset in the world is waiting for the right time, waiting for motivation, waiting for someone to believe in you, waiting for a perfect opportunity, waiting for the right circumstances to take action. People waste years of their lives waiting, and the truth is, the perfect time will never come. The circumstances will never be ideal. No one is going to give you permission. You either decide to take action now, or you stay stuck. The people who win in life are the ones who stop waiting and start doing. They don't let fear stop them. They don't let doubt hold them back. They take responsibility for their growth, for their progress, for their success, because they know no one else will. Most people are looking for a shortcut. They want the results without the responsibility. They want the rewards without the discipline. They want the success without the sacrifice. But that's not how life works. Every single person you admire, every person who has achieved greatness, every person who has built something incredible, took full ownership of their journey. They didn't make excuses. They didn't blame others. They didn't sit around hoping things would get better on their own. They took action. They did the work. They figured it out. They pushed forward even when it was hard, even when it felt unfair, even when they had every reason to quit. That's why they made it. That's why they became unbreakable. Taking ownership means owning your mistakes. It means looking in the mirror and being brutally honest with yourself. Most people can't do that. They avoid the truth. They tell themselves stories to protect their ego, to justify why they haven't succeeded yet. But the people who grow, who evolve, who become stronger than anything life throws at them, they face reality. They don't run from their weaknesses. They don't hide from their failures. They take responsibility for everything because that's the only way they can change it. You cannot improve something you refuse to acknowledge. Taking ownership also means controlling your response to adversity. Life is unpredictable. Bad things happen. People betray you. Plans fall apart. You get knocked down. But none of that determines your future. Your response does. The way you handle difficulty, the way you react when things don't go your way, the way you choose to move forward when you could have given up, that is what defines you. The strongest people in the world don't have easier lives than anyone else. They just refuse to let setbacks defeat them. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They don't dwell on what went wrong. They take responsibility for their next move, their next step, their next action, because they know that's all that matters. You either control your life or your life controls you. There is no in between. The people who succeed don't have more time than you. They don't have fewer challenges. They don't have a magic formula. They just take full ownership of every second of their day. They don't waste energy on things they can't control. They don't wait for motivation. They don't let fear stop them. They take action even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because they know that's what it takes, because they know no one is coming to do it for them, because they know that the only person responsible for their success, their growth, their life is them. At the end of the day, everything comes down to one simple truth. You decide who you become. Not your past, not your circumstances, not your excuses. You, the people who rise, the people who refuse to break, the people who create a life of power, purpose, and impact, are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who made a choice to take control, a choice to build the right habits, a choice to train their mind, their body, their emotions, and their discipline until nothing could shake them. The world will test you. Life will challenge you. You will have every opportunity to quit, to make excuses, to let fear and doubt take over. But if you commit, if you develop these habits, if you train yourself to be unbreakable, if you refuse to accept anything less than the strongest, most disciplined version of yourself, then nothing will have the power to stop you.